Good Wednesday evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday, April 21st, 2021. Time for This Week in A.B.A.T.E. My name is Josh Witkowski. I am the State Legislative Coordinator for A.B.A.T.E. of Illinois. And it is our weekly show back in its usual time slot. We've got a little bit of a delay here. I can see some of the comments coming in. But this is where you're going to find the show for the duration of the riding season. We're going to be at 8 p.m. Central, generally on Wednesdays. Last Wednesday, which was the 14th, we had to do it from Legislative Day. And of course, the first show of the month will always be on Tuesdays because Chris and I both have conflicts going on the Wednesdays. So going forward, Wednesday, 8 p.m., we'll be here again on the 29th, Wednesday at 8 p.m. That's where we're at. And speaking of Legislative Day, I wanted to go ahead and do a Legislative Day wrap up. We had a lot of people ask us, hey, how did it go last Wednesday? How was it in Springfield with COVID, everything going on? The answer is it went pretty well. It did pretty good with regards to the legislators coming out. The Zoom meetings went better than what I had expected. I'll be honest with you. It was really cool because we had a room of about 30, 35 of us that were there. But when we had the legislators up on the screen, people from around the state got to meet legislators that they had never met before. Because usually when you come to Legislative Day, you go target your legislators that you already know. But because we were doing this big Zoom room, we got to meet some legislators that we normally wouldn't meet. I know that Representative Rita Mayfield really made an impression on some folks. I heard a lot about her over lunch. People were impressed with her, with Mike Marin, a few others that were there. We even had them checking in from the House floor. Representatives Morrison and Calkins were together right there on the House floor checking in. So that was really cool. It worked really, really well. Then we had our actual reception. And our reception was in the evening still there with the motorcycle. Representatives and senators came over. We had the minority leader of the House, Jim Durkin, came over for a while, which, funny story on that one. I was working the Monday night events in Springfield. He kept asking me if I was coming to his event Monday night. Well, when I went to his event Monday night, I go, okay, I made your event. Now you're coming to my event Wednesday night, right? And he held up his end. He came out and hung out with us for a while, as did Leader McConkey from the Senate. That's nice to have actual leadership showing up. And of course, we had other leaders within the GOP caucus showing up. Representative Butler showed up, Representative Spain, and of course, fan favorites Dave Severin, Dan Swanson, Mike Marin was there, and Senator Darren Bailey was there. We also had Michelle Mussman showed up. Representative Mussman came out. It was a good time. I believe Representative Kifwit was in the House for a little bit, I think. I'm getting the thumbs up on that. So she was there. It's awesome. It's good to see our friends. It's good to have that back. And yes, we did it in a responsible manner. There were doors open for ventilation. There was a tent outside. All that fun stuff. It worked out really, really well. So the other part of the legislative day that kind of worked for us. So I was texting back and forth with Representative Bourne on mine and your favorite issue out there. I'm surprised nobody's commented yet. Trailer plates. I was texting her some information that I had found regarding trailer plates, and she gave a speech on the floor. And we heard about it that night at the reception. And we also heard that Representative Mayfield, who had talked to us about trailer plates early in the day, came to her defense in an elevator. But it was really cool to see the actions of us at Legislative Day affect action on the floor of the House. And so the speech actually just posted about an hour and a half ago, and I am going to play that for you now, hopefully, if this all works right. So here is Representative Avery Bourne speaking during our Legislative Day, but on the House of the Illinois House of Representatives on the floor. So here we go.
I rise with kind of a question and a question of the body. Today, one of our very first bills that we passed was House Bill 2828 that my colleague, Representative Calkins, passed. And I find it really interesting that it passed without much debate because it decreased a fee. Imagine that, we would decrease a fee. Well, I have a bill with 60 sponsors and co-sponsors, House Bill 636, but I'm not alone. I think there are 9 identical bills in this chamber that repeal the trailer fee increase. Some of you have probably heard from your constituents on this. I know Representative Mason has a bill. I know Representative Stewart has a bill. I don't need my bill to be the one to pass, but this is a terrible, terrible thing that we are not able to repeal this huge increase. It went from $18 for the Boy Scouts to have a trailer to pull a parade float to $118. And I was told that it may not be able to pass because of the American Rescue Plan not allowing the state to decrease any taxes. Yet today we passed a bill one of the first bills that decreases a fee. So I would just ask this body why we are not passing this bill. It has a majority of the House of Representatives co-sponsoring this bill. This should be a super easy vote to take. I've also written a letter to the U.S. Department of Treasury asking for clarification to make sure that this does not conflict with the American Rescue Plan funding that's coming to the states. I would ask anybody who's interested to sign on to my bill, Representative Mason's bill, Representative Stewart's bill. We've got House Bill 682, House Bill 837, House Bill 1898, House Bill 2895, House Bill 2917, House Bill 3315, House Bill 1929, House Bill 36, and my bill, House Bill 636. Sign on to any of them, all of them. Let's vote on one of them. One of our very first days in this chamber, I stood up and said, it's a pretty common sense thing to include in the House rules that we are able to vote on a bill. And I said, in your House rules, if we have a majority of co-sponsors, can we vote on it? And the answer was no. And I was kind of laughed at. They said, that doesn't happen. We don't get a majority of the body co-sponsoring a bill and not getting a vote. But it's happening right now. So I would ask you all for an opportunity to vote on this common sense bill. We have most likely 150,000 people in Illinois who are out of compliance because they can't afford this fee increase. Please join me. I'll sign you on as a co-sponsor. Let's get 118 co-sponsors. Heck, maybe then it'll pass. Thank you.
And so that was Representative Avery Bourne from the floor of the Illinois House. And what was really interesting about that, you heard there was some applause going on after that video. She pointed out some interesting things, that she's got more than 60 sponsors. It's, I think, 66 sponsors now, if I looked last. It's pretty ridiculous. It does need voted on, but you can see they're running into issues having it voted on, and we're kind of really disappointed in seeing that. But then, the very next day, what wasn't shown there is that Representative Zaleski kind of got on Representative Bourne and was a little cross with her, a little short with her. And that was a big thing that we heard about at Legislative Day at the reception last Wednesday. So then Thursday, Representative Tim Butler got up to speak, and he addressed some of the issues, but he also mentioned a particular group of hooligans that are involved in this issue. So I'm going to let you hear his comments from the floor. Hang on here.
To address a little discussion that happened at the end of yesterday. I'd like to address a little discussion that happened at the end of yesterday and just remind the body that as somebody who participated in the negotiations over the Capitol bill and had no discussion whatsoever of a $118 trailer fee as part of those discussions, and who was told, our side and your side has been told repeatedly over the last 2 years that this was a drafting error, I'd really like to underscore what Representative Bourne said yesterday. Peeling back this trailer fee is something that we're in broad agreement on in this body. If anyone visited the A.B.A.T.E reception last night, you would know from the ABATE folks that this is one of their top issues. It is something that we need to address. As Representative Bourne pointed out yesterday, there's multiple pieces of legislation on both sides of the aisle that could address this situation. And let me just remind the body that when the governor rolled out his budget this year, he's sweeping part of the cigarette tax, which goes to vertical capital, and I didn't hear a moan and cry about that when the governor proposed taking money out of the capital program to pay for his budget. And on top of that, we've already passed a bill today, a license plate bill that I voted for, that was the right thing, HB 20, that peeled back a fee for licenses. People who get Gold Star plates don't have to get, well, spouses and so on, don't have to pay that extra money. So let's be consistent on this. It was not meant to be $118. I know it. Representative Spain knows it. He was in the room. Representative McDermott, she's not here anymore. She was in the room. She knows it as well. It's time that we address this and get it done. And I really appreciate Representative Bourne bringing it up yesterday, because it is something that we've talked about and talked about and talked about, and it drives the public nuts when they contact our offices and nothing ever gets done on something that would be easy to fix. There are 150,000 less trailer renewals this year than there were 2 years ago. And why is that? Because I'm sure there's people in this body possibly that haven't renewed their trailer fees because they're not going to pay $118 for a trailer to sit in their yard and only be used once a year. And that's what people tell me. That's what the A.B.A.T.E guys told me last night. So let's get it done. Let's stop playing games. Let's get it done for the people of Illinois, because it's something we need to do.
And so there you have it, Representative Tim Butler talking from the floor of the Illinois House, specifically mentioning our reception and our work on the issue of the trailer plates. So the reason why I bring that to you is this. There's your proof right there. You want to know that what we do works. What we do is effective. There it is. You know, here we are getting mentioned directly back on there. You know, it's amazing to see how this works and works well for us. So, with that respect, here is your weekly update on your favorite issue out there. I swear to you, I make jokes only because you all are so ridiculously voracious on this topic. So here's where we're at on trailer plates. Shortly after Tim Butler spoke last Thursday, Marty Moylan got up and spoke. He's a member of Northern Illinois A.B.A.T.E. He's a good friend of ours, really great for this organization. He got up and spoke and said, I agree with everything that my colleague just said. We need to work on this for the people. And that got a huge round of applause. They're sick of hearing about it down at the House, but we're going to have to find a unique way of getting out from under that committee. So at the end of last week, Marty called me last Thursday night. He said that there's a deal that they're working on, which would be a $25 trailer plate with a 1% increase on semi-trailers. There also is the Republican side of it. They're still pushing for the full repeal of the $100 and making it $18. We're going to see what happens. I heard there's a House amendment that may be getting heard here short. As soon as that information comes out, we will have it out there for you. So keep staying tuned to the social media. Watch for MailChimp alerts. One other thing on trailer plates. I continue to see the fishing group post about, hey, I found this great hack for a $19 plate. A.B.A.T.E of Illinois has covered that issue for over a year now. The gist of it is this. There is no $19 forever plate necessarily. What that is a semi-trailer plate. There are a host of legal issues that we have been made aware of regarding that $19 plate. First of all, your trailer has to be annually inspected by an A.B.A.T.E inspector, and you have to be able to show that should you ever be pulled over. Second of all, your weight issue has to be absolutely correct. The weight of the vehicle pulling the trailer has to match the entire weight of vehicle and trailer and payload and passengers. So hope you know all of that off the top of your head, because you can actually be pulled over for weight inspection at any point in time. It actually gives a license for you to be pulled over at any reason for any time. And it doesn't work for a trailer being pulled behind a motorcycle because a motorcycle plate doesn't necessarily carry weight. So there's that fun. Then we're hearing from our friends in the trucking industry that if you carry an ST plate across state lines, you may be subject to mileage tax depending on the rules of the state that you are passing through. So if you've got an attorney and you know transportation law really, really well, go ahead and try the $19 plate. Otherwise, maybe make a phone call to some representatives to say, hey, why aren't we getting this thing out of committee? Highly recommend starting with Representative Mike Zaleski, since he's the chairman of the committee that refuses to hear this bill. Just saying, that might be a better option for you. With that said, we've got a few other things going on. Outside of the trailer plates, profiling issues, they're up again. We're dealing with more. If you've heard me talk, we've got the issue going on in northwestern Illinois where the gaming board is going in and threatening establishments. The quick update from us is this. We're still working behind the scenes on that one. We're talking to state representatives, state senators, looking at testifying at a few committees, going to be sending a letter to the gaming board. The hopes was to have done it this week. My schedule just hasn't allowed for it. I might be able to get to it by Friday. We're going to find out. I'm working on it. But we're more interested in the conversations that we're having at the State House. That's the higher priority with regards to this and getting something done. We're hopefully going to see some lasting change on this. The other part of that, House Bill 2617, that is our profiling bill. That says that it updates police training standards. We're going to be working with stakeholders over the summer. Then we're going to be refining the language, and we should have a bill by next year that should pass through with minimal resistance. Also in the issues of profiling, the federal anti-profiling resolution. This was the resolution that was in the House of Representatives that failed to pass last Congress, is being reintroduced next week. Of note to the state of Illinois, one of the introducing congresspersons is none other than Representative Sherry Bustos of the 17th District. Sherry Bustos is going to be an introductory co-sponsor on this, which means she's responsible for introducing it, and she also sits with the current majority party in the House. Hopefully that leads to more of the Democratic delegation in Illinois signing on to it. I don't know. I can tell you that the entire Republican delegation in Illinois happily signs on as co-sponsors to this. They were co-sponsors last cycle around. I expect they're all going to be co-signers this cycle around as well. Adam Kinzinger, Mary Miller, Darren LaHood, Mike Bost, Rodney Davis, they've all been very good for us as well. So hopefully right out of the gate, we're going to have 6 sponsors on this resolution from the state of Illinois. We're hoping the Democratic delegation pays attention and does a little bit more, especially with some of the areas going on in the Northeast. And talking about the Northeast, I'm going to hand it over to Chris Hansen, our lovely public relations coordinator, back from his fabulous vacation away from the show. Chris, take it away.
Well, thanks, Josh. And yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about profiling. I'm going to try and keep this calm, as it's not the rant and rave section, which I think I've been permanently kicked off of. But 2 things to touch on. And I want to bring this up because Naperville has now decided that they are going to go after loud mufflers and drag racers and all of that in Naperville, which obviously affects motorcyclists, as you know, none of us ride quiet motorcycles. And one aspect of this that they targeted, which came direct out of the mouth of the chief of police, Robert Marshall, was an issue they are having are people with gang affiliations riding their ATVs, their dirt bikes, and their motorcycles through town, disrespecting all traffic laws and disobeying the law and running from cops. I don't know how many gangs are using ATVs. Maybe that's new to me. Maybe I'm not fully aware of gang members and their ATV ramblings, but apparently they use their ATVs, their off-road motorcycles, and their motorcycles to break the law in Naperville. Clearly, Robert Marshall, the chief of police, is either misinformed or he's just been duped by the rest of all the motorcyclist profiling going on in this state. I'm personally sick of it, and this is, will come up later. But I mean, these issues have to be brought up and made aware. And like Josh pointed out, everybody's fired up on the trailer plates. That's great. I am too. If we could get half of the fired up on these trailer fees to go against motorcyclist profiling, I'd be overjoyed. The other thing that I will touch on profiling is I see Maple Park trustee Chris Rebone is on. I want to give a shout out to him as we had an issue up here by us with a bar in Maple Park that had a in their doorway. Thanks to him and some talking, we actually have a meeting this coming Monday to try and resolve and get that removed. So shout out to him on that. But Josh will touch on the rest of that later. The one thing other that I want to talk about is I was asked about why we get motorcycle proclamations and what they are. So as you can see behind me, I've got one from the city of Batavia. The reason that we get motorcycle proclamations is May is Motorcycle Awareness Month. Now, yes, all year is motorcycle awareness. I know, but May is Motorcycle Awareness Month. And what we do as chapters is we go around to every city, town, and village in your area, and we get these proclamations from mayors and village presidents and township supervisors so that we can make the public aware of, hey, open your eyes, motorcycles are on the roads. As everybody knows, spring, this time of year, everybody's driving around, forgot that we're out there. They're texting on their stupid cell phones, or they're curling their hair, or eating their food, or whatever the hell they're doing while they're driving. But I can tell you, looking for us is not one of them. So the reason that we get these proclamations is to bring awareness to the public, as we've been trying to increase with social media and everything else. They need to know that we're back out there. And this is a great way for your chapter to get involved with local politicians like the mayors and the village presidents and township supervisors. And again, to bring awareness. For one example, we got Blackberry to give the Duquesne chapter a proclamation, and they got so excited they wanted to start seeing motorcycles for their city hall because they have the traffic going past. And this is what we need them to do. We need them to get involved, start, handing out these motorcycle proclamations, start, putting signs out, hanging banners. People need to see these things and know that we are back on the road. So that is why I've obviously issued a challenge to every chapter on who can raise the most. And currently right now, Starved Rock A.B.A.T.E is leading the way with 12. I know they have more coming. Other chapters have more coming. So obviously when you get these, make sure you're sharing them on social media, getting them out and saying, hey, look, we're out there. It is Motorcycle Awareness Month in May. Open your eyes and watch for us. So if you have any other questions on that, feel free to email me, text me, call me, whatever. So with that being said, I'm going to go straight into events. So we are going to start on Saturday, April 24th with the Liberty A.B.A.T.E Poker Run. Sign up is at the Mattoon Moose from 9 to 9:45 a.m. Kickstands are up at 10. Only $5 a ride. Again, I'm going to point that out. $5 a ride, because where are you finding charity rides, or any motorcycle ride for that matter, for $5? You're not. So they're going to head to Buford's Pub, end up at the Triple Nickel. $5 poker hand. You can buy more than one, and it's going to be a whole thing with a 50-50 raffle and the whole deal. So make sure you are out there for Liberty A.B.A.T.'s event. And then on the same day, Central Illinois A.B.A.T.E has their Spring Fling Bike Show. Sign-ups from 11 to 1, $10 entry fee. So get your bike out there, enter it in the bike show. Voting's from 1 to 2, and there's first and second place awards given out at 2:15. That's at Harley's Pub in Galesburg. So make sure you are out. They're going to have a hot dog cart. They're going to have some pinstriping going on out there. So that's going to set you up for a good time with that. Then on the 25th, the Chicago A.B.A.T.E chapter has their motorcycle awareness run. That's at the Llama in Chicago on Fullerton. It starts at 8:30. Kickstands up are at 10 with awards in the middle. And as per Chicago would be the only way to do this, where they're headed is a secret. Lori Lightfoot, we got to hide from her because, she'll come after us. So it's a secret where they're going, but be there for that. They ride through parts of Chicago to send a wake-up call that, hey, May's Motorcycle Awareness Month. It's a free ride. This is better than a $5 ride. It's free. And you're going to ride through Chicago, make some noise, let them know, hey, we're back on the road, and go from there. So with that, we go into a big old weekend starting April 30th. And that is Mid-State and Lincoln Land ABATE Chapter's Freedom Fest, April 30th to May 2nd. Now, Scott, you had asked about bringing kids. This is strictly an 18 and up event. So, no, you cannot bring kids on Saturday. It's $10, gets you in for all 3 days. There's free tent camping. This is at the Christian County Fairgrounds in Taylorville. They're going to have Run What You Brung open dirt drag races. They're going to have music, entertainment both nights. So it's a huge event for the entire weekend. Good camaraderie with other motorcyclists. Get out there and have some fun, because what this ultimately leads you to is the ABATE of Illinois Freedom Rally. Mark 1.5 Waries has worked his ass off on this event along with Josh. The lineup starts at 8 a.m. at the A.B.A.T.E on Dirksen Parkway. What's that? All right, and kickstands are up at 1. It is a parade straight to the Capitol building. So all vehicles, all clubs, all organizations are welcome. They're going to have food and beverages from 8 to 1. Alcohol is obviously prohibited. So make sure that you are down there on May 2nd, ready to go for the Freedom Rally. If you can't attend all weekend, make sure you're there for that. Then we move on to May 8th, and Duquesne ABATE has got a big weekend, as they've got 2 events on the same day covering 2 counties. So we're going to start with Motorcycle Awareness Day, and what that is we are on Route 47 and 64 and Route 47 and 38, teaming up with the Kane County Sheriff's Department and teaming up with the Elburn Police Department. And we're out there making some noise with signs. Put the cell phones down. Motorcycles are back on the road. Stop texting and driving. And as they're driving through these intersections, if any of these individuals that are driving decide that we should be ignored and they start texting and driving anyway, they get to have a lovely chat with their county sheriff or Elburn police officer about why they shouldn't text and drive, because we have to let them know to put the damn cell phones down. And then what we do after that is we head on down to Knuckleheads, who's a huge Duquesne ABATE supporter. We have lunch to thanks Dan, Betsy, and Shelley on opening up for that. So make sure you're there for that. But if you are in DuPage County that same day, you can join Duquesne ABATE at the Heritage Harley-Davidson Motorcycle Awareness Run. We're going to have a bike blessing by the Christian Motorcyclists Association. There's a ride that's from 11:30 to 12:30. It's an hour long. It's escorted by the DuPage County Sheriff's Department. Goes all around DuPage County, much like Chicago's doing, and make people aware, hey, we're back on the road. Stop, texting and driving. Watch for us. Look twice, save a life. And then it ends back up at Heritage Harley-Davidson for an after party, where we'll also, speaking of proclamations, be getting a proclamation from DuPage County that May is Motorcycle Awareness Month. So 2 great events you can participate in, one in Kane County, one in DuPage County. Come on out. On May 15th, it is the St. Clair County 30th anniversary ride. Kickstands are up at noon. Another free ride, 100 plus miles. So you're going to do some riding that day. That starts with a blessing of the bikes at 11:30. Like I said, kickstands up at noon, starting at TR's place in Belleville and ends at Night Moves. Free food and music at the end, and all vehicles are welcome. And on the same day, Open Roads ABATE has their summer book ride. So this is their first ride of the year. It starts at 8 a.m., meeting at the Plano American Legion. And what they're going to do is they're going to ride to different destinations in the Open Roads summer book. So if you haven't got it, get your book from Open Roads, and you can participate in this ride, get your stamps, get out and do some good riding with Open Roads. So make sure you're there for that. Then on May 21st, and this is also being put on by Open Roads ABATE, it is the Middle East Conflicts Wall Escort. So there's a lot to this one, so definitely check out their Facebook and their website for all of the details, or call Linda. She can fill you in. But meetup time is at 9:30, and this is basically going to start in East Moline, Illinois, and travel across, the state, escorting this wall. So there are different checkpoints if you can't be at the beginning where you can meet up with everybody. So definitely watch the details. They have all the info on gas and everything there. So definitely check those details. But if you want to escort the Middle East Conflicts Wall across the state, definitely be a part of that. And then the last couple of things I've got are May 22nd is the Eastern Illinois ABATE annual Roll the Bones run. It's a ride for the memory of all those that have left us, and you meet at J&J's Burger. That's going to be the starting point. Sign up is 9 to 11 a.m. and it's a $10 fee. Kickstands are up at 11, so you can get out and ride. If you have any questions on this, contact Mike. His info is on the flyer. And then we kind of talked a little bit about the Open Roads book. Will County ABATE has their books out now, and that goes from April till October. So you can get your books from them. They've got a number of places that are part of this. There's a whole list of bars right there. You can see bars and businesses. You go in, you see the bartender, you get your book, you get your stamp, and you're good to go. And what is this? One entry per person. All the details are inside the book, so make sure you're contacting Will County for that. And then the last one I've got is the Piasaw Gateway Shake Your Bones Summer Fun Run. This is different than their ABC run. I asked and verified. Goes from April 1st to September 18th. $10 a book. You can buy as many as you wish. All proceeds go to the Fight for Motorcyclist Rights. So this is just another way that you can get out, go with Piasaw Gateway, get up, do some riding, and stop and support their local businesses. So that is all I have for events this week. Just remember, if you want your event on the show, get them to me by noon 2 days prior to the episode. Josh, back to you.
Hang on. Let's try that again. Sorry. Thank you, Chris, for everything that you gave us there. As you can see, there are plenty of events. Apologize for the mic dip out. It is what it is. I got that patched out real quick. Anyway, as you can see, there are plenty of events throughout the entire state. We have the Freedom Rally coming up May 2nd right here in Springfield. That's going to be a huge thing for us. It's coming back. We had it 2 years ago. We had 700 motorcycles 2 years ago. It would be great to see 1,000 motorcycles this time around. So let's hope and make that happen. If you want, come down to the Christian County Fairgrounds earlier in that weekend for the Freedom Fest. Could make a whole weekend of it, or you can just make it the Sunday. Take your pick. It's going to be a good time. Alrighty, so with all of that said, we're entering into the last 5-6 weeks of session. And everybody kind of wants to know what's in play. When we started this 6 weeks ago, we had 6,500 bills dropped on us in like 3 weeks. It was a lot of fun. But what's in play for us right now? Here's what we've got going on. There is going to be an amended trailer bill coming out. I got wind. There's House Bill 2192. There's a possible amendment. This may be the bill that Avery Bourne and I were talking about Monday night here this week. I don't know. I'm waiting to get a text back from her to find out if this is the one she wants us to move on. If so, you'll get an alert on it. Also in play, the passenger footrest bill, House Bill 656, made it over to the Senate. I had several people tell me they would sponsor it in the Senate, but so far none of them have followed through. So I'm still working on this to find out what's going on with this bill, why it's being held up just a little bit. But if that makes it through the Senate, then it will go to the governor's desk. We also have the bill that we worked on with Polaris. It's currently House or Senate Amendment 1 to Senate Bill 150. Originally, Polaris wanted to do a large, oversized off-highway vehicle. That is now going to get its own separate designation, so that way it doesn't interfere with the way that the Off-Highway Vehicle Trails Grant Program is administered. So what this means is that vehicles the size of a Jeep Wrangler are not going to be on protected trailers right alongside regular ATVs and dirt bikes. They will have access to other off-road venues, though, in Illinois. So it's a win-win for us and for Polaris. So those are the three basic things that we've got in play right now. We also have what's coming down for the future for next year. I have agreements for people to work on profiling, to work on the LED underlighting bill that we've been asking for, modernizing motorcycle lighting, and also electric motorcycle registrations. This was something that we picked up on due to an omnibus bill the Secretary of State was trying to push. And then we find out today with a conference call with the Secretary of State that there's only 89, 90 electric motorcycles registered in the entire state of Illinois. So it's not a pressing issue, but we do want to clean up the definition of what an electric motorcycle is so that way it doesn't get confused with the electric bicycles that are out there and a few other things to make things work. But that will be next year. So these are all things that are still out there, still in play. We also are going to be working on legislation next year with regards to people who are on suspended licenses when they hit, injure, and kill a biker. I'm going to talk more about that next week, so make sure that you tune in next week's show to learn a little bit more about that. So that's everything that we've got going on down at the State House currently, but some recent actions are going to affect our future. Give me just 1 minute here. There we go. So, if you saw my video from Friday night, you would know we've got some shenanigans going on in the Chicago area. This seems to be every year that some alderman, alderwoman proposes some sort of crackdown on the vicious street gangs of motorcycles in the Chicago area. I say that jokingly. But if you would have read the article that the Chicago Sun-Times had posted, you wouldn't think it was a joke. They made it sound as if the streets of Chicago were some kind of Mad Max post-apocalyptic deal with just roving gangs of motorcycles threatening life and limb of the poor, innocent citizens in the Chicago area. And then they blamed it all on motorcycle clubs. They said it's all these motorcycle clubs that are doing this. It's not. We're aware of the groups that are out there, and they're not even doing what's being described. They're saying that they're drag racing, they're drifting, they're doing all this stuff. It's a large group of street bikes that get together. They call themselves Chicago United. They're good people. They do some awesome work in their community. They get out there, they deliver pizzas to the homeless. I thought that pizza ride was one of the coolest things I've ever seen a group do. They deliver sleeping bags. They strap them on the backs. They deliver that out to the community. They try to do what they can to give back. They also hold fun runs like their Taco Tuesday run. But as their group has grown, more and more people have complained. But they're getting profiled, just like any one of us, just like anybody who wears a vest, just like anybody who gets tagged for stuff they didn't do. These guys are getting profiled. And the reason why I've got the question mark there where it says Chicago United with the question mark is this. Are we going to unite as motorcyclists? These guys are getting profiled. They're getting targeted. It would be my hope that if any of them are watching this video, they would realize there is a need for them to get involved in the fight. Because right now, Chicago ABATE is talking with the alder person, the alderwoman involved in this, and a couple aldermen as well, as to what really needs to happen and why they shouldn't be targeting motorcyclists on their own. But we could use some help. Just that simple. And so the question is, are we going to unite? Are we truly going to be together on this? It's something to consider. The other thing to consider on this, the alderperson who proposed this is Alderwoman Pat McDowell of the 3rd Ward. Alderwoman Pat McDowell wants to be Secretary of State of Illinois. This is the main office that we deal with on almost every vehicle issue in the state of Illinois. And she's got pretty heavy prejudices against motorcyclists. It was pretty evident by the comments she made in the newspaper. It's pretty evident by the comments she made in the subcommittee, and pretty evident by comments that she has just generally made out in public. Now, the good news here is her office has reached out to Chicago ABATE. They reached out earlier this week. We're hoping that they managed to get a meeting and maybe get some of this put to rest. We don't know what's going to happen exactly just yet. But it is something to keep an eye on. This is Chicago. They like to play games. This is the same city that wanted to ban Kevlar, which would have hurt motorcyclists' protective gear, especially Kevlar-lined jeans and shirts. This is the same city that every year complains about Lakeshore Drive, which, I'm down here in Springfield. I do get up to Chicago fairly often, but I really have a question for my Chicago people. What is up with the folks that live around Lakeshore Drive? They move to Lakeshore Drive. It's a busy street. It is a major thoroughfare in the city of Chicago. They move there and then they complain about the noise from the major street. I'm not sure what the heck gives there. If somebody could possibly explain that one to me, I really could use the education. But that's what's going on up there in Chicago. So moving on from Chicago. Wrap up and your questions. First of all, I saw earlier somebody was asking that with everything going on, all the disturbances that are out there, whether or not it's safe for them to ride. I haven't stopped riding. In fact, during the pandemic, I kind of enjoyed having the open streets to be able to ride. I don't know why you would. It's not mass anarchy, mass chaos out there. Get out and ride your stuff, man. Get out and ride. Get out and enjoy the community. Get out and support some of these events that are going on. It's time for us to come out of our holes. I just got done getting my second COVID vaccine today. Yeah, it sucks, but I want to get back out. I want to get out and do things. I know a lot of you out there do. So there shouldn't be any reason for you not to get out and ride. Saw the thing about Freedom Fest earlier. Chris covered that. When Chris was talking about proclamations, that came via feedback from you, the membership. We were asked to cover what a proclamation is. That's why he talked about it tonight. That's the last thing I'm going to leave with you. If you want to see things covered on this show, email me. My email is right here below here. Comment here. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know who you want to hear from. Who would you like to see us do interviews with? Who would you like to see us have guests? I'm starting to realize that with this program, I might be able to do some taped interviews and be able to broadcast those for you. So this is something that if you want to see more of this, let us know what you want to see. We'll continue to put the show out, try to have a little bit of fun with it. But with that said, we're about 43, 44 minutes into this. This has been This Week in A.B.A.T E. Hope to see you all at some events this weekend and next weekend. Until then, we will see you next Wednesday night, April 28th, 8 p.m. Everybody have themselves a wonderful evening.